Today we're diving into the real-time fuel tuning on the Terminator X, so stick around. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage, and as always, if you have not dropped that subscription or that like or rung that bell, do that now. That way you don't miss up on upcoming content. Today we are diving into real-time fuel tuning on the Terminator X. I've touched on the fuel tables a little bit. We'll go over them again. Go out. I've got an errand to run, so we'll log some data, and then I'll show you at the end of that data log how we apply it, how we smooth things out. It does most of it for you, but it gives you a good insight to how easy this is. And in fact, the table that I've got in there right now, I have not touched since I initially set it up, other than to apply the real-time fuel tuning changes to it. I've got the car warming up over here, but before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to ADM Performance down in Texas. I'm getting boxes in for these Project Super Auto, including a box full of brackets that are needed. Yeah, look at these beautiful ICT pulley brackets. And then Andy also was kind enough to hook me up with a nice bottle mount for Project Country Club, because the nitrous kit will be in any day. On top of that, we've got a couple other things to dive into here soon, including something that involves a flex fuel sensor, so keep your eyes peeled on that one. And then what's in this little box, you guys have seen it on some of the other channels, but basically, we've got a draggy now. We're going to start using that to measure performance on the Super Auto and Project Country Club, but I'll do a full review on this very soon, possibly this weekend. There's a car show going on here in Pittsburgh. I'm going to try and stop by there, so I might be a little bit tied up, but I'm super anxious to get that out and start getting some base numbers on things. But as always, make sure and go check out the links. You guys all right there? You're a little bit crooked. Let me straighten you out. There we go. Make sure and check out the links. ADM Performance, you can also get there at lsaconversion.com. Big shout out to Andy down there for all of his support of the garage, to help to support all this content that we're getting ready to be coming out with. So if you have anything that you're looking for, go check out the website. If he doesn't have it on the website, give him a call. On top of it, if you want a special discount code, the number is on the website. Just call him up, say, hey, I'm part of the Goat Rope Garage. I'm looking for my discount code. Andy will hook you up with a very special discount code. So don't miss out on that opportunity to save some money. Really specializes in a lot of the 5th and 6th gen Camaro stuff, LT4 swaps on Silverados, things like that. So for the guys that are wanting to do kind of the LT4 swap, this is the place to go to. All of these brackets are stuff that he's designed, had built out by ICT Build Out in Kansas. Another great group of guys there. So make sure and go support the people that are supporting us making this content. That being said, let's jump into the car. It's still warming up. We will pull up the laptop, take a look at the fuel tuning, and then we will do some data logging. Okay, we got the software pulled up here. I'm going to go ahead and just download the config from the ECU. You can open up your global file. I find it's just quicker and simpler to go ahead and grab what's in there, mainly because there might be adjustments to the fuel table already, so we want to be working with the latest version. I'm going to go ahead and also hit USB link, because you can see that we've already failed the fuel configuration. That's because it is currently making changes, and so if we go ahead and get that part from the ECU, we will see the latest versions whenever we come up in here to the fuel table. Now, this is our basic fuel table. In this case, we're using volumetric efficiency. You can set that up. We can't look at it right now. It's under engine parameters. Whenever we're online, we can't adjust that, but you can go through things like volumetric efficiency, fuel flow, alpha N, all that other fun stuff. But we're just using volumetric efficiency. And as you can see, this is kind of where we've, the green spots on here are where we've driven this thing out, gotten it into wide open throttle, and it's made the changes, but it's been on the learn table, and then I've applied them from the learn table. Up in here, we've not hit these areas. I've not blended it back out. So if we look at the fuel graph, you can see kind of the way that our graph is shaping up right now. Now, the cool thing about it is our learn table. This is where we're actually learning data right now, and you can see we're 0.2% off. We're barely off right now at idle. And I've got this dialed down a little bit. You can make the adjustments underneath in system parameters under closed loop and learn. Now, we do have closed loop and then we have learn. Those are two different things. Closed loop do not make changes to your fuel table. Closed loop works much like your long-term fuel trims do, where these things can make adjustments, but they don't ever get applied to the the fuel table, they stay on a separate table that is then applied on top of the fuel table, but the fuel table itself stays the way that you had it adjusted. I've got this set up pretty straightforward where it's enabled, and then we have to have minimum coolant tip of 150, and then we have to be over 600 RPM. Now, learn is the big one. This is where it populates that learn table, and you can apply those changes. It's still populating that table separately from the base table, but you apply the learn changes directly, and you can do that in real time. Now, we've got a couple things on here, enable, which we're still enabled right now, and then I have the base fuel learn gain at 80%. Whenever you start out, you can put that to 100%, and that thing's learning as fast as possible. I dropped it down to 80% to kind of slow down the learn rate to make sure that we're getting a lot of cell hits. This is the equivalent to using cell hits on HP tuners. Now, I'm going to go ahead and enable the TPS on this one because I have DFCO active right now, and so I want to make sure that we're only learning whenever we are putting throttle inputs in. That way, whenever we come off throttle, DFCO can do its thing, and it won't make adjustments based off of DFCO. Pretty straightforward, same thing that we do on everything else. So, that being said, the other big thing that we're looking at right now is our target air to fuel ratio. We are in the 2D table. You can go into the simple, which literally just sets an idle, a cruise, and a wide open throttle. Idle and cruise I had set to 14.7 and 14.7 because that's what we want. Then wide open throttle, we're going out to 12.5. I put it back into 2D table and then blended it basically. And so we just have an area around 3600 where we're ramping up into power enrichment. This is a non-boosted engine, so there's no reason to go into power enrichment down low. We really only need it whenever we're in those wide open throttle, high RPM zones. We could come in here. This is set up for a 2.5 bar, a 3 bar map sensor, but we could come in here in the 95 to 114 range and also add some fueling in there in that range because theoretically we would be in a wide open throttle position in there. So that's something else that if we wanted to, we could quickly just go in there, say, let's make this 12.5 in this area, and then we'll do a blend right here, same ordeal of 13.8 because that's the in-between point between 14.6 and 12.5, and it's done. It's already in there. We are now targeting that above that. We don't have to do anything else. So let's go ahead. We're going to put the learn table up in the background while I do some driving. I'm going to fast forward through this till I get to where I'm going. Then I'll stop, show you about applying the changes and smoothing them. Okay, so that's about the furthest I've driven it in over a month, I'd say. And we got up into higher RPMs a little bit. I still have a lot of tuning to do on the trans tune. In fact, I pulled over in the middle of this and made adjustments to it because the speed was still not reading right. For some reason, it wasn't wanting to accept changes, but I finally got to accept changes on the output gear. Everything looks good on that side of it now, but the torque converter still doesn't look right. Smells like she's run a little bit hot, but she's only at 194 degrees and the fans are running. So that's a good sign. Everything's good there. But as I said, I haven't really had a shakedown on it in a while. So that being said, we've got the log pulled up right in front of us here. We've got the changes that we see on the tune. So we're going to go ahead and just now hit transfer learning to base. And it's going to ask if you want to go ahead and smooth it before you transfer it. I like to do that. Keeps everything smooth from the get-go. And applied. Now if we go over and look at our base fuel, we have made the changes. You can see right there, it definitely made some changes. In fact, it pulled some fuel out down here on the bottom side. If we take a look at the graph, it's a little bumpy. We could go ahead and do smooth all, and it smooths everything out nice and easy. Man, it's just hard to beat how well this thing works. That's pretty much all it takes to do. There's a lot of other stuff that you can play with as far as acceleration enrichment and temperature enrichment. Startup enrichment's one that I'm still having to make adjustments for. It was running really rich right out the hole. I had to get it rich to initially get it started. Now that I've got it started, I've started to pull that back so it doesn't smell so rich, but it doesn't struggle on startup bases versus cooling temp. So that being said, I'm good about to maybe 80 degrees above that. I might need to bump it up a little bit, but it's something you need to play for on your individual platform. I will tell you one thing, the North Star does not like having no variable valve timing. This engine is very dependent on being able to adjust all of those cams, since we've got 4 of them, to make power. That is something that would lead me to not use this platform if I were going to apply it to a North Star. But since this is not the long-term motor that we're going to run in this, it's working fine for now. We'll throw some nitrous at it in the meantime, see what we can get out of it, and then go from there. But that being said, that's pretty much the wrap-up. Let me know if you have any more questions about how the real-time tuning works here on the Terminator X. As you can see, the thing's still running right now, even though it's not in learn because we're not giving it any throttle. If I wanted to, I could go over, re-enable it at 0 throttle, and it would start learning our tune at idle, but the idle's pretty good. If we were to scroll through here and take a look at our idle tuning, we're at 14.7 out of a 14.7 target AFR. So I'm happy with that. Doesn't get much better than that. Everything's running good. So pretty quick breakdown, but it's not that hard. Anybody can do it. This is the most simple tuning that I've done so far. So once again, make sure and check out ADM Performance down there in Texas. Look up their websites, admperformance.com, lsaconversion.com. The links will be down in the description below. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that. Check out the live show Thursday nights, 8 Eastern. Been giving away a lot of merch, things like that. Lately gave 2 shirts away for free last Thursday, so you don't want to miss your chance to win some awesome Goat Rope Garage merch, things like that. Remember, ABT, always be tuning, and thanks for stopping by the garage.